At the beginning of the story, we see a huge building which is a hotel named W-Line Hotel. And inside the hotel, we see two people talking. One of them is Hyun Woo-young, the leader of the Woo-young gang, and he's 29 years old. The other person that Hyun Woo-young is talking to is 25-year-old Kang Suk-chai, also informally known as Dae-pa, the second in command of the Woo-young gang, and we see them drinking and talking with each other about something. Then suddenly we hear a knock on the door. The guy knocking on the door says he has something urgent to report to them. And we see that Hyun Woo-young and Kang Suk-chai tell him to come in. And afterward, we see that Hyun Woo-young asks that guy if there is something urgent to report, then it must be about Suk-chan, so he wants to know what happened. And that, if they lose, the guy bowed down and said no and that they won. And he responded to that by saying, that's not just a simple win, but an overwhelming victory. Dae-pa's reaction in his words was that their brother Suk-chan claimed to the top alone and managed to defeat the boss too, which was very flabbergasting to Dae-pa. After saying that, we see Hyun Woo-young saying that it went down as he was expecting it. After all, he has a great eye for people. Then Hyun Woo-young said that even before he turned 20, he single-handedly took down a whole organization and that he was the only one who did that before Dae-pa could know. And then we know that even Dae-pa was playing around in school at that age. At that time, Dae-pa said that Suk-chan wasn't the only one to do that and that he just couldn't get that kind of opportunity as Suk-chan at that age. And Hyun Woo-young responded by saying that it sounded like jealousy to him. Then we see that Hyun Woo-young said that in any case, Suk-chan did something incredible this time. Because of this achievement, Hyun Woo-young wants to promote Suk-chan to 4th rank. Hyun said that in front of Dae-pa, Dae-pa was shocked to hear that he was getting promoted to the 4th rank. And Hyun Woo-young asked why Dae-pa was reacting this way, because after all, except Dae-pa and Hyun Woo-young who could beat Suk-chan in a one-on-one fight. We then see that Dae-pa says that dividing ranks based on fist-fighting ability alone would be problematic for the group. He adds that they also have to consider the position of the younger brothers who have been struggling together ever since they started from the bottom. Hyun Woo-young replies to this by saying that no one said that they are abandoning anyone, and of course they will take care of everyone till the end. But he says that Suk-chan is quite exceptional according to Hyun Woo-young, and further adds that if someone is exceptional, then they should be handsomely rewarded, and Suk-chan is extraordinarily skilled. We then see afterward that Dae-pa says that he agrees that Suk-chan has some unique skill, but if he becomes 4th ranked then he will be just below him and his brother Hyun Woo-young. Dae-pa thinks that the club is just a little bit too exclusive. We then see that Hyun Woo-young said that if Dae-pa is so opposed to it, then he'll think about it some more. And afterward, we see Hyun Woo-young talking about his drink and other things. After that, we see that the guy who delivered the urgent news is still standing. And then we see what Hyun Woo-young said to him. He realized that he was still standing there and said, "You're still here." He said, "Good job," and further added, "You can go now." But the guy then said, "That's not it. If I'm not bothering you too much, can I ask a question?" And Hyun Woo-young nodded at him and said, "What is it?" The guy then replied, "Hyun Woo-young's brother is 1st ranked. Is Hyun Woo-young AD boss? Dae-pa is 2nd ranked." Hyun Woo-young said, "That's right. We want to promote Suk-chan to the 4th rank. It's just below us. But where is the 3rd rank and who is it?" And then we see that after he asked the question, Hyun Woo-young said, "Oh, so that is your question." He said, "The 3rd rank is a permanent vacancy in the Woo-young gang." The guy then said, "Excuse me." And then Hyun Woo-young said to that guy, "To put it simply, it's a bit complicated." And then Hyun Woo-young said, "Don't boast about your looks in Suncheon. Don't boast about your money in Yosu. And don't boast about your fist in Bozong." We then see a flashback. 11 years ago, Bogyo Town, Bozong County, South Jeolla Province. And we see a bunch of people lying down, all beaten up. We get to see that the guy who beat all those people is an 18-year-old Hyun Woo-young. In that process, Hyun Woo-young also got pretty beaten up. We see a bloodied Hyun Woo-young saying after beating those thugs that the Bozong thugs seemed nothing special to him. And then we see Hyun Woo-young saying to those thugs who are still standing that now playtime is over, and he's going to gradually make them all suffer bit by bit. And as Hyun Woo-young is about to have a go at them, we see the police suddenly arrive at the scene. And then we see that Hyun Woo-young was saying that this feels annoying to him because even though he wants to torture them, he can't. We then see that the police are capturing all the thugs, putting handcuffs on them, and arresting them. We see Hyun Woo-young thinking that if only they had come a little earlier. He then said this because he almost lost his life. And suddenly Hyun Woo-young realizes that one of the police officers is putting handcuffs on him. Hyun Woo-young was stunned and said to the officer that he was not one of the gangsters and that he was just trying to help the people of this neighborhood. And the police officer says to Hyun Woo-young to shut his mouth, and that after causing this mess to dozens of people, he still has the guts to say that he's innocent. And then we see that the officer asks him to stop talking and go with the police. We see Hyun Woo-young screaming at the top of his lungs that he is not one of them. And fast forward 2 years later, we see a 20-year-old Hyun Woo-young come out of a correctional facility and meet up with his known ones. One of them gave Hyun Woo-young something to eat and said that he's been through a lot in those 2 years. And they went to a restaurant and he asked him what he's going to do now. And further adds that if he doesn't have a solid plan, then he should go back to his hometown and work with his father picking up clams or something. And Hyun Woo-young responded to that by saying he didn't want to go back to his hometown right away, and that he has his plans. We then see a year later a 21-year-old Hyun Woo-young at Hanyang High School, and in class, the teacher introduces him saying that this is Hyun Woo-young, a student who will be studying with the students from today. Then the teacher asks him to introduce himself. Hyun Woo-young then says to the class that after battling with a serious illness and receiving treatment for 3 years, he returned to school this semester. And although he is 21 years old, he still wants to get along with them all as peers, because he'll be in their care. We see some students saying that they want to get along as peers, so they should torment him just as much as everybody else instead of giving him any special treatment. And if so, then his wish is their command. And we then see afterward that the students of Hyun Woo-young's class are talking about him. They say that the way Hyun Woo-young is behaving might just be an act though, and be shocked once they get to know him. And they also add that after all, he is 3 years older than them. Then one of the students said that Hyun Woo-young said when he was introducing himself that he was held back because he was sick. And he further goes on to say how weak someone has to be held back for 3 years. And we then see that Hyun Woo-young is the topical wimpy kid, and asks the other students to look at Hyun Woo-young's glasses. Then the students decided that if that's the case, then they would observe Hyun Woo-young at lunchtime. And there the students will see how he reacts. And then at lunchtime, everyone is at the canteen. 2 of the guys in the food queue are talking, and one of them takes his phone out and starts to take some pictures of himself. And his friend asks him if the students can bring phones at the school. And the phone guy answered that as long as they don't get caught, it's fine to bring a phone. And afterward, we see Hyun Woo-young standing in the same food queue, listening to a song on his iPod. Suddenly, the bullies from Hyun Woo-young's class, who were also standing in the same queue, decided to go up to him. The bullies then pulled Hyun Woo-young's headphones off of him and said, "What the heck are those?" to Hyun Woo-young, and then further added that those seemed to be headphones and said that he had thought these were hearing aids. And he also said that if he is not hearing impaired, then why the heck can't he hear people talking? And we then see that Hyun Woo-young was very angry about these things, but he decided to keep his mouth shut. The bully then asks, "Why aren't you answering?" And he also said that if Hyun Woo-young is so angry about it, then he should do something about it to him. Afterward, we see Hyun Woo-young saying that he is saying that it's his bad and that it's his habit of cracking up the music and saying to the bully what he was saying. We then see the bully say to him that later they have a basketball game and it is for a bet of 30,000 bucks. And then he said that Hyun Woo-young should quickly eat and come to the game and give his support to that team so they can practice well. He then says that Hyun Woo-young is also in their class and then calls him uncle. Hyun Woo-young then said that he was fine and that he would go first. We then see the bully is calling everyone around. We then see all the students get together, and they ask what's wrong. And the bully then asks if they play basketball alone. And then Hyun Woo-young said that they should all eat together if they want to practice together. And the bully asks everyone that does have a problem with that. And everyone said that they don't. We then see the bully thinks that Hyun Woo-young is not tough at all. We then see the bully take Hyun Woo-young's iPod and say that it is the new one. And further adds that the sound quality is really good, and it has cool kick-ass features too. And how would he be able to know if it's good or trash if he doesn't use it himself? And afterward, he said that he's gonna do a little test on this. Then we see Hyun Woo-young give him an angry look, and he says, "What's with that look?" Someone might think that he's stealing Hyun Woo-young's stuff, and that he is just borrowing it. And Hyun Woo-young then said that that's fine and that he can borrow it. And then we see that the bully said that, "Can Hyun Woo-young read the atmosphere?" and called him a clueless old geezer. We then see Hyun Woo-young thanking that somebody just stole from him, and he is flabbergasted by that. We then see the scene change, and Hyun Woo-young is at the teacher's office. And that teacher says that he has read all the records about Hyun Woo-young, and that he has quite a colorful past, both outside and inside the correctional facility. And that the teacher thought that he was reading a martial arts novel. And then he said that it was all in the past. And the teacher said that, in the past, huh? Then the teachers ask Hyun Woo-young if he regrets any of the things that he has done. And Hyun Woo-young said that there were reasons for his actions, so he honestly didn't regret any of those things. But he also added that he won't act that way after a little pause. The teacher said that he'd take his word for it, and then asks Hyun Woo-young why he is so eager to come back to school. And if he needs a high school diploma, then there are plenty of other ways to do that. And Hyun Woo-young said he wants to go back to the point in his life where everything went wrong, and he slowly wants to fix it, and that there is no other motive. And the teacher said, that's his journey. And further goes on to add that what's the harm in letting a prodigal son come back to school and cross one item off his bucket list, and that it's not like such a place exists. And then the teacher said that frankly, he doesn't trust Hyun Woo-young's words. And Hyun Woo-young said to the teacher that he was thankful to the teacher for being honest with him. And then the teacher said that if it was up to him, then he would have denied Hyun Woo-young's readmission to their school. However, since his opinion is irrelevant, and that's why he's not going to say anything more about that, instead of Hyun Woo-young causing the slightest problem, the teacher will do everything in his power to get him expelled from their school. And does he have any objections? Hyun Woo-young replied none and further said that'll do. Afterward, we see the scene change, and we see Hyun Woo-young eating at the canteen quietly. And thinking of something, suddenly the bully came up to him and wanted him to clean their plate in which they had eaten food. Everyone looks at him and Hyun Woo-young shockingly, and we then see Hyun Woo-young saying that he has heard that whoever eats is responsible for cleaning up their plates. They then cursed at Hyun Woo-young and said that if Hyun Woo-young was saying that he should clean up too, and further said that Hyun Woo-young can't do this little favor for those people who he calls friends and who represent the class in competition. And then the bully said Hyun Woo-young to just look at national team representatives going to the Olympics or other events, living off taxpayer money for their food, lodging, and training. Doesn't it make Hyun Woo-young feel like damn? Then the other bully said that Hyun Woo-young's behavior was extremely selfish. We then see Cha Ho-seok's second year at Hanyang High, and the first ranked in Seoul, is thinking that isn't Hyun Woo-young three-year-old resigned student who got in with 10,000 points this time, and that he should check if he has any worth. We then see on the other hand that after hearing so much from the bullies, Hyun Woo-young said that he gets it and that he'll clean up their plates. The bullies then respond to that by saying that Hyun Woo-young should have done that earlier, and now that he's going to do it, he doesn't need to make any big fuss about that. And see that the other bully gave him a little smack on his head and said what was wrong with him, and called Hyun Woo-young a moron. And after that, they left. We then see Cha Ho-seok, who was sitting behind Hyun Woo-young, thinking that what's the big deal, and that there is no need to report such a thing to the third-year seniors. We then see that Hyun Woo-young is cleaning the bullies' plates, and thinking that he's sure that the bullies must be in a bad mood today because they're going to meet those dudes from Jangin High. And after the cleaning is over, we see Hyun Woo-young saying that this should be enough and that it was cute. And after that, the scene changes, and we see the school's basketball ground. And people are there at the basketball ground. And they're also, one of the bullies is bullying a guy who then bullies calls Doggy. And they make him pretend to be a dog. And then we get to know the name of the guy, and his name is Kim Sung-woo, and he's from 2nd grade, class 1. And we then see the bully is saying to Kim Sung-woo, who they call Doggy, to hurry up and do something special. And if there is anything that he is good at, even just one thing, we then see Kim Sung-woo say sorry to the bully. We afterwards see that Young Hoon, the other bully, also arrived at the basketball ground. Then we see that he is asking Young Hoon, how is the new student, and whether he has any special or unique traits. And Young Hoon replies by saying that Hyun Woo-young is worth noting, and that he only has the age going for himself. Then the bully says that he guesses he can treat Hyun Woo-young like this worthless piece of crap Kim Sung-woo. And we then see after that, Kim Sung-woo is standing heartbroken and listening to the bullies talking. And Kim Sung-woo was crying at the school basketball ground in front of the bullies. And afterward, we see that the bully asks Young Hoon if he is sure about Hyun Woo-young. And he replied that yes, he of course is sure about Hyun Woo-young. He further adds that he already stripped Hyun Woo-young of his cash, and what else would they want to see, and they said yes. He then showed them the iPod that he had taken from Hyun Woo-young, and the other bullies said that it's new. And Young Hoon then explained how he took it from Hyun Woo-young. And then we see the other bully, to whom Young Hoon was talking to, just got super angry at him. He was furious that Young Hoon hadn't still given him the iPod after that. We see Young Hoon got scared and said that he could have the iPod if he wanted, and then give the iPod to him. And then we see that the other bully, who calls himself King Kong, is calming down, and then he smiles at Young Hoon and says, "Why do they ruin the mood with such a pretty thing?" And then he said that they're all friends after all. And we see him leave the place. And afterward, we see Young Hoon calling Kim Sung-woo and saying that he is a crackhead. And what is he doing there? And didn't he see that the ball was rolling? And kicked Kim Sung-woo in his groin. And we then see a hurt Kim Sung-woo saying sorry to Young Hoon, and then he runs away. We then see the scene change, and Hyun Woo-young is standing on the balcony, looking at the basketball ground, and thinks that it was new too, and asking to have it back would be useless, and that everything is the same old to him. And then he thinks about what could be different there at the school. And afterward, we see that an announcement is going on. The announcement says that they have worked hard attending classes all day, and that now the school hours are over. We then see the bully who calls himself King Kong go to Hyun Woo-young and put his iPod on his table. And Hyun Woo-young thinks that he's giving it back. That's unexpected. We then see the bully then said, "What if someone who's not old like you listens to this crap?" and wants him to bring some new songs like Dong Bang XX or XX 501 type of songs. Hyun Woo-young then thinks that was the problem. Then the bully says why isn't Hyun Woo-young answering, and if he's deaf or what, and then curses him. And then said that he's not that old, since he's only 21 years old, and smacks Hyun Woo-young on the head. And then said that when people talk to him, he should respond and again smack him. And Hyun Woo-young then smiles at him, gives him a thumbs up as a gesture of yes, and says got it. And we then see him again smack him on the head and say that he thinks that he's higher than them, just because he is older. We see that Hyun Woo-young's glasses fall off his eyes. Then the bully says that Hyun Woo-young has time until tomorrow. We then see Hyun Woo-young thinking that, if those kids from True Light saw this, they'd be stunned. We then see the scene change, and Hyun Woo-young is heading towards home, and he's thinking that he guesses that after school it doesn't matter. We then see Hyun Woo-young walk by a convenience store. And we then see inside the convenience store that the girl is starting her first part-time job. Her name is Na Yuna. The manager of the store is explaining her job duties. And we then see that she says that this is her first part-time job since she entered college. And she also adds that she'll work hard. And the manager said that that's the right spirit. And then we see that the manager says that working at a convenience store is nothing special. And she'll just have to make sure that she doesn't make any mistakes doing the inventory. And all she has to do is watch out for the middle schoolers that try to buy alcohol or cigarettes. And if she's unsure, always ask for an ID. After that, the manager said that nowadays, there are kids who sneakily attach photos to their older brother's or sister's ID. Then he said that even if they show her their ID, and if she feels that something is off, simply refuses to sell anything to them and that she should send those customers off. And then the manager further adds that there might be kids who'll cuss and make a scene. And he said that she shouldn't be scared in such a situation, and that she has to be strong. And then the manager said that if these people think that Na Yuna is a pushover, then they'll make this place their hangout. And according to the manager, then they'll bother her every day, asking for alcohol and cigarettes. And Na Yuna then said that she'll be strong. And if there's nothing else she is curious about, then she is gonna go and she should try working alone. After that, the manager said she could text him if anything happened. We then see Na Yuna say to leave it to her now. And the manager says take care of her and then leave. We then get to know that Na Yuna is a 21-year-old nursing student from a nearby college. We then see that Hyun Woo-young entered the convenience store, and Na Yuna said welcome to him as he entered the convenience store. And we then see that Hyun Woo-young looks at her and thinks that she must be the recruit for a part-time job here. Then we see that Hyun Woo-young gives her money and says that 1 pack of dicks. And Na Yuna looked at him and she seemed shocked. Hyun Woo-young then thought that she might not be familiar with this. So he started to show her where it was located at. She then remembers that she was told to check if she was sure. And this sure looks like a school uniform to her, so she said that she can't sell it to him. And Hyun Woo-young said that if there is any problem. She then again said that she couldn't sell these things to him. Hyun Woo-young said that she would like to see his ID, and that he's an adult. And then Hyun Woo-young further goes on to say that he is a regular customer here. And the manager also knows him very well and he lives nearby. It seemed to him that she was new here, and Hyun Woo-young showed her his ID. Na Yuna then remembers that the manager said that she looked like a pushover. And we then see that Na Yuna said to Hyun Woo-young that he is trying to deceive her, without even the slightest courtesy. And how dare he wear a school uniform? She thinks that she needs to be more strict in this type of situation. And then Na Yuna said, "Excuse me, you non-adult sir," and Hyun Woo-young asked why is she talking casually, all of a sudden. And she replied, "What's wrong with being casual?" And that she is 21 years old. And Hyun Woo-young says that he is also 21, and that he even showed his ID. She then said that Hyun Woo-young forged it, and also added that Hyun Woo-young should be studying hard if he's a high school student, and also said that if I can't get his act together, then he'll also end up retaking a year like her. Hyun Woo-young responded to that by saying that Na Yuna said he took a year drop and took 3 by the way. She then thinks that maybe Hyun Woo-young is making fun of her, and that she needs to be stronger, and that she must be very stern to make sure that he won't do that again. And then we see that Na Yuna took a floor mop to teach a lesson to him, and said that when she gets angry, she can be a scary person. Then she tries to hit Hyun Woo-young, and we see that Hyun Woo-young thinks that he can't use his strength against a girl. So he started to run away. And while running, Hyun Woo-young said to her that she should calm down, and that the manager of the store knows him very well. And then we see that Na Yuna said that he still didn't figure it out and that he did want to get scored by her, and started swinging at him. We then see Hyun Woo-young run away, and Na Yuna says well done to herself. And she thinks that she did an awesome job. And she thinks that now the high school kid will never come back again. And afterwards, we see that Hyun Woo-young is tired of running. And he stands in a corner, and then Hyun Woo-young thinks about what has happened to him today. And how many times has his head shaved, just in a day. And further thinks that, at the time, no one could lay a finger on him. It was not far behind just a year ago, and he was thinking about his years in the correction facility days. We then see afterward that Hyun Woo-young is heading toward his home. And on the other hand, we see Na Yuna has also finished her duty. And the manager says to her that good work was done today by Na Yuna and says to take care of her. We then see that after attending classes and working part-time jobs, the day passes by in the blink of an eye. And we see Na Yuna heading home, thinking that she needed to take some rest. Suddenly she realized that she had to do laundry. And then we see that she also reaches home and started doing her laundry. And after she finishes laundry, she then thinks about where she should hang the laundry, and thinks if she should buy a laundry rack. And then we see the house owner say that she can just hang it on the roof, and that there is plenty of room there. The house owner then says that there is a bachelor living in the attic, but she says Na Yuna shouldn't worry about that. Then we see that Na Yuna thinks that hanging her underwear on the roof is a bit awkward to her. But what can she do? She feels grateful to find an apartment at this cheap price. And then we see the roof and the moon is shining. Meanwhile, we see that Hyun Woo-young is downloading some songs from the bully King Kong. And we then see that just thinking about it makes him mad. But anyhow, he thinks that he needs a break. And then we see that Hyun Woo-young is going to the roof for a smoke break. And then we see the scene changes and Hyun Woo-young is smoking and thinking that, does it have to be like this? And that if he turned a blind eye and helped them out a couple of times. And suddenly it struck his mind that what is he thinking right now? And that once or twice won't be enough, because this is a punishment for the past deeds, and that she should just accept it graciously. And he thinks that it should be done. And we see that Na Yuna arrives at the roof. We then see that Na Yuna approaches Hyun Woo-young from behind, says hello, and says that she is new here, and lives on the 3rd floor below. And that the landlady said that she can hang her laundry on the roof. And after that, we see Hyun Woo-young and Na Yuna both stunned to see each other. And Na Yuna said, "Why is he here?" And Hyun Woo-young replied that he should be the one asking here. That is why she is here at his place, a convenience store delinquent. Na Yuna responded by saying that she just moved in on the 3rd floor, and asked if he was the attic bachelor. And we then see that Hyun Woo-young replied that yes, he is the attic bachelor, and also added that he's 21 years old, and an adult. And Na Yuna said that was true and then laughed. and then saying that have a good time and asking him to take care. And then we see that Hyun Woo-young said that is gonna leave just like that. And she replied that maybe she. And Hyun Woo-young said that ain't she gonna hang those, and that it'll smell. And then we see that she was a little flabbergasted by hearing that. And afterward, we see that she has hanged all her laundry. And after that we see Na Yuna and Hyun Woo-young sitting on the roof and talking to each other. And we then see she said sorry and also added that seriously, he shouldn't be underestimating that store manager. She means that she has been tough. And Hyun Woo-young said that's enough, and asks her to bring out the goods properly from tomorrow. And then he said that he went all the way there today for nothing. And we then see that Na Yuna said that Hyun Woo-young still can't wear a uniform. And then he said that she just had to let that slide. We then see Na Yuna ask Hyun Woo-young why he is still in high school. Anyway. And we see after a little pause Hyun Woo-young responds by saying that it's because of an accident. And Na Yuna said that must have been a serious accident. And asks him if he is better now. And Hyun Woo-young responds by saying that he's not sure. It feels both real and unreal at the same time to him. And said when he and Na Yuna stopped talking like this. And we see that Na Yuna was a little shocked by that. And we then see that Hyun Woo-young asks if Na Yuna is also 21 years old. And then Hyun Woo-young said since they both are 21 years old, they're living in the same building. So they should speak more casually according to Hyun Woo-young. And Na Yuna said that shall they. Then we see that Hyun Woo-young then introduces himself and he says that he's Hyun Woo-young. And Na Yuna said huh. And Hyun Woo-young said that's his name. And then she said that she was Na Yuna, and further added that she was a freshman at the university nursing department. And then we see that Hyun Woo-young said that why is she telling him about her department, and further said that is embarrassing, and said that as for himself Hanyang High School 2nd grade. And we then see the scene changes and the next day at school. And the bully said hey old man to Hyun Woo-young, and then asks him if Hyun Woo-young changed the songs. And Hyun Woo-young replied that he did. And then he said that Hyun Woo-young only put the boy group songs on. And then we see that the bully started smacking Hyun Woo-young again and said that he should have some taste. And that is that a male spa or a fish soup and snacks Hyun Woo-young again. And we then see that Hyun Woo-young said sorry to the bullies. And then we see that bullies punish him. They said that his punishment would be that Hyun Woo-young would bring 3 packs of cigarettes every day when he came to school. We then see that Hyun Woo-young is quite shocked by hearing that. And then we see that they said that Hyun Woo-young is old so he should have a free pass to cigarettes. So they ask to bring enough then so they can smoke a pack per day. And on weekends he should bring 2 tasty packs. We then see Hyun Woo-young say got that, and says that's not enough. And he then asks what about the money. And they replied what money 3 packs is at least 6,000 won per day. And Hyun Woo-young says that that's fine for 1 or 2 days, but for every single day is quite impossible. And suddenly we see Young Hoon is getting angry. And he said Tae Young Ki-hyuk, Park Young-ho, and as he called their names they got scared. And then we see Young Hoon say that the hack is that, and further said that he thought that Hyun Woo-young's was over. And they quickly apologized. And then he said that this stupid guy is asking for money, and that he's ripping them off. Screamed why would he put up with this? And Park Young-ho and Young Ki-hyuk said that he should be so angry, and that they'll educate him quickly. Young Hoon said how quickly, got up to them, and viciously struck one of them with a knee strike followed by a kick to the gut. And after that, we saw that he fell on the floor and said that he was having difficulty breathing. And then he said that he should have expected this from an idiot like him. And then we see that Young Hoon left the place. And we then see that Hyun Woo-young thinks I'm his mind, that looks at the brat, and that he is acting just like he used to in the juvenile detention center. And suddenly we saw a thunderous hit. And Hyun Woo-young fell on the floor, and they started to hit him with kicks and punches nonstop, and started abusing also, and says that how is he asking for money from them, and also said that he was the cause of all this. And Hyun Woo-young said that he's very sorry for that, and thinks that they are being very rough with him, and that is how it should be done. And then they said that they were going to let Hyun Woo-young off because of his age, and just use him to supply them with cigarettes. But they said they're done with that thought now. Then we see Park Young-ho call Kim Sung-woo and say congratulations and that he has a new buddy. And then he says to a bruised up Hyun Woo-young that he'll make every single day of Hyun Woo-young's life a living hell, and ask Hyun Woo-young to look forward to that. And then we see after the beatdown on Hyun Woo-young, Park Young-ho said, "Hey you old geezer," to Hyun Woo-young, that he should make sure to follow Kim Sung-woo today and learn everything from him. And further adds that if he messed up, then he'd take both of their lives. And Hyun Woo-young replied that he understood. And then we see that Kim Sung-woo then refers to Hyun Woo-young and asks him to please follow him. And suddenly Park Young-ho kicked Kim Sung-woo's gut and said, "Why is he being so formal with Hyun Woo-young?" And then said that he should just do as he was told. And Kim Sung-woo said that he understood and requested them to not hit him anymore. And we see Hyun Woo-young getting a bit angry, but he keeps quiet. And afterward, we see the scene change, and Kim Sung-woo and Hyun Woo-young go down the stairs. Hyun Woo-young asks Kim Sung-woo where are they going, and he replied that they were going to the convenience store. And we then see that Kim Sung-woo is saying sorry to Hyun Woo-young because he said that he can't help it when others are watching. He was casually talking with Hyun Woo-young, and he's sorry because Hyun Woo-young is older than him. But Hyun Woo-young said to him that he could just speak casually with him. And Kim Sung-woo replied that he's older than him. And Hyun Woo-young then said that I'm still in the same class, and said that it's not like he has never been friends with an older guy before. We then see that Hyun Woo-young will ask Kim Sung-woo again to talk casually with him. He then says okay, and started calling Hyun Woo-young Woo-young. Then Hyun Woo-young asked what he should do now. Kim Sung-woo then replied that first, he had to prepare snacks for those three so that Hyun Woo-young could give them to them whenever they asked for them. And to be particular, Young-hoon only eats hamburgers, not bread. And he says that since hamburgers are the most popular snacks at the store, they might be sold out by afternoon, Kim Sung-woo says. And according to him, that's why he should buy 3 in advance to stock up. Then he says that after that class, Hyun Woo-young can start his assessment while paying attention to the teacher. And Hyun Woo-young asks if he can just do that at home. Kim Sung-woo then said that he had a lot to do after school, so Kim Sung-woo doesn't have time to do it later. Kim Sung-woo then said that he only does homework so that he doesn't get scolded by the teacher, and also said that he has to pay special attention to performance evaluations which could affect his grades. And when he says that starting today he'll be with Hyun Woo-young, so if he does well, then he'll get enough time to complete his assessment. We then see that Hyun Woo-young thinks that Kim Sung-woo hasn't been able to have time to do homework. And we then see after that they bring those snacks to the classroom for the bullies. The bullies then tell them how long it takes to buy snacks, and further says that they are trying to slack off. And then we see that Kim Sung-woo said that he was sorry, and that the line was long. And then we see that Park Young-ho smacks Kim Sung-woo and says that he told Kim Sung-woo not to make any excuses, and further adds that they will have to work like a hawk. And we see that Hyun Woo-young is watching all of these things and getting angry. We then see that the school is over and everyone is heading toward their home. And we see that Hyun Woo-young thinks that it sure isn't easy taking care of these kids. And he said that he just wanted to go home and take a rest. And suddenly someone called him. And it's Kim Sung-woo. Kim Sung-woo asks Hyun Woo-young why he is leaving so early, and that there is still a lot to do. And Hyun Woo-young replied that what else needed to be done, and said the school is over. And Kim Sung-woo said that the school might be over, but they're just getting started. We then see that Kim Sung-woo started to explain everything to Hyun Woo-young. And we see Hyun Woo-young taking orders at a restaurant. And the customers over there are treating him with disrespect and aggression. And then again Kim Sung-woo said that they have to work part-time jobs at the meat restaurant. And Hyun Woo-young asked why. Then Kim Sung-woo said that he had to give Young-hoon a stipend monthly. And he said that but Kim Sung-woo said that his family is poor, and that he can't afford to pay even if Kim Sung-woo lost his life or not. So Young-hoon and Ki-hyuk introduce him to this place. And then afterward the work times are 6 to 10 p.m. on weekdays and 2 till 10 on weekends. We then see Hyun Woo-young then, what about the payment that he was supposed to take? And then we see Hyun Woo-young thinks that he's working alone and sharing money. And Kim Sung-woo says that they share no way. Everything he eats goes to Young-hoon. And the restaurant owner doesn't know about this. And how can he not know with one person doing all the work and the other taking all the money? Kim Sung-woo then says that the owner is also on his side, unfortunately. We then see that from the restaurant owner's perspective, he has a long-term and cheap hourly worker who won't quit and will commit himself to the work. So that's great for the owner. And then he says that as for Young Ho and Ki-hyuk, they will also get a generous cut from them. We then see Hyun Woo-young and Kim Sung-woo, after a long day of work, feeling very exhausted, and they feel that the work is finally over now. And Kim Sung-woo then said that it's still not over for him, because he'll still have to play a game at home. And then Hyun Woo-young asks him about the game, and isn't he tired yet? Kim Sung-woo then replied that he was tired, but it would be even harder tomorrow if he dropped down the ranks of Young Hoon's group. And then we see that Kim Sung-woo said that he knows how to play sudden force. And Hyun Woo-young says that it's not his first time hearing of this. Kim Sung-woo then says that it can't be helped, so he says that he'll play the game on his own. And Hyun Woo-young says that no, he'll help because they decided to do everything together. And then Kim Sung-woo reveals that the players have to play well to increase their score, and that if a beginner helps blindly, then the score will drop. So we see that Kim Sung-woo requests Hyun Woo-young that he should play on his own and that he can go and take a rest at home. We then see afterward that Hyun Woo-young asks if it is only them who have to work part-time and play games. And Kim Sung-woo replies that they have everyone, from every grade and every class, and that it's roughly about 30 students in the school he guessed, and that still no one reports them, and that even if the police catch a few of them and send them to juvenile detention centers, it doesn't mean that they will be locked up forever, and that they'll come back in a year and take revenge on whoever complained about them. And even if the students drop out or transfer, reporting them still won't help when you can't even leave because they'll come after you. We then see that Hyun Woo-young asks Kim Sung-woo how he got targeted by them. He then said that he always dreamt of being a cartoonist, so he would practice drowning during breaks. And one day he was practicing drowning at the class break time, and Young Hoon noticed that. And then we see that Young Hoon said that this idiot is a total otaku after watching Kim Sung-woo draw. And afterward Young Hoon then asks him to open his bag. And then he said that Kim Sung-woo is an otaku in a beggar's shoe. So Kim Sung-woo passed, and their class is counting on Kim Sung-woo from now on. And then we see in the present time, Hyun Woo-young asks Kim Sung-woo that he didn't even argue or try to fight back. And Kim Sung-woo replied that how could he argue with such a scary person? And then Hyun Woo-young asks if he still dreams of being a cartoonist. And Kim Sung-woo replies that no, and his dream is now to graduate, and that he just wants all this to end quickly, and that it's okay for him if he doesn't get to make any good memories of his school, and that he just wishes that everything would magically disappear before tomorrow comes, and it would be better for everyone. And we see Hyun Woo-young just keep staring at him then. Afterward we see Hyun Woo-young on the roof of his house thinking that he's a tough guy and doesn't care even if he's hurt, but other kids aren't. Afterwards we see that the scene changes and Kim Sung-woo is heading towards his home from school. And then he entered his house and went to his room and started playing the game to get good scores. And he didn't even change his clothes. And we see that after watching Kim Sung-woo like this, his mother was worried about him. We then see that Kim Sung-woo is playing non-stop even though he's tired. And then we see that his mother enters the room. Kim Sung-woo then says to his mother, "Why did come cameo his room?" His mother then says there's anything wrong, and if so Kim Sung-woo can talk to her. And then we see that his mother further goes on to ask what he is doing these days because he comes home very late. And he then replied that these days he's been going to the library. And Kim Sung-woo's mother asks if he's going to the library or what. And then he replies in a very aggressive manner, why is she so interested in what her son is doing these days? Then Kim Sung-woo's mother says that she spoke to his teacher. The teacher said that he hasn't submitted any of his assessments, and his performance has eventually dropped since he became a sophomore. So she wants to know what happened. And then Kim Sung-woo replies that nothing, and asks her not to worry about that anymore. And she then says how she is not supposed to worry when her son is coming home late every day, and also doesn't change his uniform, and that he just plays games until dawn. We then see that Kim Sung-woo shouts and says that she wants to know, then she should leave him alone. And then we see his mother says that if he hangs out with troublemakers. And then Kim Sung-woo says that if she thinks that, and if so she doesn't know anything. And his mother then says that she's sorry that she doesn't know anything, but can he tell her what happened to him? And where he has been these days? We then see that Kim Sung-woo furiously shouts and says that that's nothing, and that he can take care of himself. And then his mother asks if he's getting bullied or something like that. And then we see Kim Sung-woo stand up and say that seriously his mother is so annoying. And then he pushes his mother out of the room. and said that get out quickly to her and close the door. And his mother then knocks at the door and says that he should talk to her. And Kim Sung-woo says that he has nothing to say. And she then says that if he doesn't tell her, then how will she know? And Kim Sung-woo asks what she will do if she knows, and then said leave him alone. We then see that Kim Sung-woo is feeling very sorry about what he did with his mother. And then we see that Kim Sung-woo gets back to the game and sees that he's losing. And then he thinks that it would be great if the universe gets destroyed and everyone loses their life. And after that, we see it's morning and Kim Sung-woo is still playing games. And unfortunately, and of course the universe is fine, and that he still has to go to school today. And after that, we see Kim Sung-woo heading for school and is very sad and almost cried in the way of his school as he was walking. And the bullies are sitting in the classroom. And then Kim Sung-woo entered the classroom. And Young-hoon said, "What is the time?" And when he was so late and called him doggy. We then see that Kim Sung-woo says sorry to the bullies, and the bullies say that was supposed to be their dog. So they ask why he arrived this late. And they further go on to say that he should come early and wait for them. And we then see that Kim Sung-woo responded by saying sorry to the bullies. We then see that Young-hoon said that Kim Sung-woo thinks that it'll all be over if he just says sorry, and said that words alone won't cut it. And after that, we see that Young-hoon then said to the bully why is he making such a fuss early in the morning, and said that their doggy has finally arrived. And also added that Kim Sung-woo is feeling sorry about being late and asked him by saying the right doggy. And we then see that Kim Sung-woo said thanks to Young-hoon. And after that, we see that Young-hoon walks across the room, sits on a chair, spits on the floor and says to Kim Sung-woo, "Come and clean that with your mouth, doggy," and then he'll accept Kim Sung-woo's apology. And we then can see that Kim Sung-woo was stunned. And Park Young-ho and Yoon Ki-hyuk say that's a great idea for Young-hoon, and further adds that it'll prove that Kim Sung-woo meant his sorry. And then we see that Kim Sung-woo was hesitant at first. And then Young-hoon said that isn't sorry. Or does he just not want to leave? And then Kim Sung-woo got scared and agreed to do so. Then we see that Young-hoon told Kim Sung-woo to kneel and lick his spit. We then see that Kim Sung-woo says that he'll come earlier tomorrow. And that can Young-hoon please let it slide this time? And Young-hoon replied that Kim Sung-woo should do as he told him to do. And then said that Kim Sung-woo should know that he is going easy on him. And if Kim Sung-woo doesn't like it, then he'll just take his life. And then Young-hoon said that Kim Sung-woo wants his mother to lose both her husband and son. And we see that Kim Sung-woo is still saying to let it slide this time and that he really can't do this and starts crying and says just this once. Young-hoon then said that it looked like their dog wasn't fully trained. Park Young-ho said to Young-hoon that he should leave Kim Sung-woo to him and that from now on he'll train him and just wants some time. And he'll see the results. And then we see that Hyun Woo-young just entered the classroom. And the bullies who were there said to him that there came their second dog, the one they were all waiting for. They also added to that by saying that Kim Sung-woo and Hyun Woo-young should both start training together. Then they also want Hyun Woo-young to kneel to them. And afterward, that Hyun Woo-young says to Kim Sung-woo that he hopes that Kim Sung-woo will become a great cartoonist one day in the future. And we then see that Kim Sung-woo, who was looking at Hyun Woo-young, is left shocked by what was being said. And then Hyun Woo-young said that Kim Sung-woo said to him yesterday that he wants to become a cartoonist going forward. And then Hyun Woo-young also added that how Kim Sung-woo also said to him that he wishes that everything would just disappear like magic before the next day comes. And that it'd be better for everyone. Then Hyun Woo-young also said that believe it or not, he is a pretty good magician in his own right. And then Hyun Woo-young also said that from now on, Hyun Woo-young said that he'll do magic and make all trash from the school disappear, and told Kim Sung-woo to take a very good look at that as he might miss it if he doesn't pay attention. Because after all, he'll make every single trash person in the entire school disappear in a blink of an eye. We then see that Kim Sung-woo is asking Hyun Woo-young just what he was even saying at that point. To which Hyun Woo-young replied by saying that Kim Sung-woo should just start to believe him. And that right there, he will show a demonstration to Kim Sung-woo, a sneaky peek of what's to come. We then see that Yoon Ki-hyuk was furious from hearing all this yapping from Hyun Woo-young. It was the trigger point for him which made him hit Hyun Woo-young with a strong punch. However, what transpired left Yoon Ki-hyuk in utter disbelief as he then wondered just what the heck happened, because he went ahead and hit Hyun Woo-young with a proper hard punch. But what was shocking to him was that Hyun Woo-young hardly even moved from that wicked punch of his. Then we see that Hyun Woo-young tells Kim Sung-woo to watch attentively, as we then see that he says a braka, before raising his fist in the air and saying Daba before throwing a wild punch to the bully. And we then see that the bully was knocked up unconscious thanks to that blow from Hyun Woo-young. This leaves everyone from the class in an utter state of shock, specifically Kim Sung-woo, who couldn't believe what he had just witnessed. Then after that, we see that Hyun Woo-young says that to Kim Sung-woo that he even saw what he did to the bully. Hyun Woo-young then proclaimed that he had officially made the first one vanish out of thin air. And Kim Sung-woo was just left flabbergasted by all of this happening around him.